If you look at this timeline of the last 24 months, the number of new generative AI tools hitting the market is staggering. But when you collapse that sheer volume into what actually moves the needle, you are left with a tiny fraction of utility. Trying to test them all leads directly to subscription fatigue. You end up paying for a dozen disjointed apps, and instead of speeding up your day, you spend hours just trying to get the tools to talk to each other. The default reaction is to retreat and just use a single generalist tool like ChatGPT for everything. But relying exclusively on an all-rounder puts a ceiling on the quality of your output. It's competent at most tasks, but exceptional at very few. On the flip side, overcorrecting by adopting a hyper-specialized micro tool for every minor task creates compounding daily friction. Your workflow fractures. The practical solution is building a lean stack. You only need 3 or 4 applications, chosen entirely based on where your specific daily operations grind to a halt. Most professional friction falls into one of 4 distinct bottlenecks: drafting text and code, building digital assets, generating rich media, or scaling administrative tasks. Real return on investment doesn't come from adopting the tool with the most hype. It comes from identifying which of those 4 bottlenecks costs you the most time and deploying the exact software built to clear it. Let's start with the foundation: tools engineered specifically for processing heavy text and functional code. If you are doing heavy content writing or software development, Claude is the standard, but it requires strict, highly structured user prompting to work correctly. That is the trade-off. Claude demands much stronger initial direction from you, but in exchange, it delivers superior logical reasoning and significantly deeper coding architecture. Gemini takes a different path. It is deeply integrated into the Google ecosystem, meaning it pulls seamlessly from your existing docs and emails. It's also built to be multimodal, allowing you to feed it raw video links and images directly alongside your text. Then there is Grok. Because it operates inside X, it is optimized for pulling raw, unfiltered data from live social streams. It answers the controversial or real-time questions that other models block or simply don't have the data for yet. Selecting a foundational model shouldn't be a guess. For complex coding, use Claude. For workspace integration, use Gemini. For live tracking, use Grok. The next category targets a highly specific bottleneck: rapidly constructing client-facing digital assets. Emergent and Draftly let you describe a website in plain English, and they stack up the architecture for a functional web prototype in minutes. You deploy a minimum viable product fast, but that speed costs you long-term developmental control. These builders aren't designed for granular back-end engineering once the initial site is live. We see the same dynamic in pitch materials. Gamma AI takes your raw notes and instantly converts them into fully designed, heavily researched slide decks. But automated design has limits. If you work inside a strict corporate structure, you still spend time manually adjusting those slides to exact grand guidelines. These asset builders force a clear choice. You sacrifice the ability to tweak every single client-ready prototype out the door today. Moving on to the third bottleneck: high-volume media generation and video production. Platforms like Hicksfield operate as aggregators. Instead of buying individual subscriptions to a dozen different image and video models, they consolidate top-tier generators under a single interface. To make this interface work, they rely on templates and presets. It completely removes the complex prompting curve, but it significantly reduces your fine-grained control over the specific aesthetic. VidRosh takes this automation a step further. You feed it a single topic parameter, and it autonomously handles the research, script writing, voiceover, B-roll selection, and editing for a full-length YouTube video. The flaw with generated media is often the output resolution. To make these files usable for professional campaigns, you have to run them through upscalers like Wondershare Uniconverter to sharpen the blur, reduce the noise, and pull the video up to true 4K quality. These platforms give massive scaling capabilities, but they demand strict human editorial oversight. Without an active person curating the output, the media becomes homogenized. The shift is toward agentic software. These systems execute multi-step workflows autonomously, routing actions without input. You simply give platforms like Manus a broad objective. They determine the microsteps, bypass your approval, and independently execute the project end-to-end. Gaining that massive time leverage means you have to implicitly trust the software's unsupervised execution path. You are letting the AI make operational choices on your behalf. A more targeted example is WhisperFlow. It takes your spoken words, strips out the pauses, and formats the raw audio into perfectly structured text for emails and messages. We can speak up to 5 times faster than we type. The raw speed advantage of dictation is undeniable, but it comes with a physical limitation. You need a private environment to actually work aloud. Integrating these agentic tools shifts what it means to work. You transition from being the person who executes the individual tasks to the manager overseeing the software's operational logic. This chart breaks down the 4 main pathways for building your stack. Audit your daily workflow right now to identify your largest bottleneck. If you're a specialized creator or technical coder, your friction is drafting speed and logical depth. Pair Claude's deep reasoning with WhisperFlow's dictation. Dictate raw logic fast, and Claude structures it into precise copy and power. The second path is for freelancers and digital agencies. Your friction is client turnaround time. Combining a rapid web builder like Emergent with Gamma AI moves you from an initial conversation to a functional web prototype and a designed pitch deck in hours. The third pathway targets volume media operators and faceless channels. Your bottleneck is asset generation. Consolidate subscriptions using an aggregator like Higgsfield to generate raw media quickly. Pair it with Wondershare UniConverter to ensure the final resolution meets professional standards. Finally, the pathway for solopreneurs and managers. Your constraint is pure operational bandwidth. Utilize an agentic setup like Manus or the Comet browser to delegate routine digital administration like market research or inbox management without hiring an assistant. A highly effective AI implementation does not attempt to replace your labor entirely. It identifies your most inefficient daily habit and systematically eliminates it. Most people trying to use AI right now are drowning in a sea of useless applications. Out of the thousands of tools launching every month, about 90% are a waste of time. But hidden in that noise are the few highly effective systems capable of running a business. This chart compares average human typing speed with speaking speed. We physically type around 40 to 50 words a minute, but we can speak over 200. When we rely on typing out prompts, we are intentionally bottlenecking our own output. Relying exclusively on standard ChatGPT creates a hard ceiling. It is a capable all-rounder, but it struggles to execute specialized, complex workflows at the scale a real business requires. The shift happens when you stop acting as an isolated AI user and start acting as an AI manager, chaining together highly specialized models to execute distinct tasks. True digital leverage means trading a traditional, slow human workforce for a curated sequence of autonomous systems that run your operations from end to end. Building this system starts with assigning distinct AI brains to specific ecosystems. There is no single chatbot that is best at everything. Claude is the choice for dense logic, complex script writing, and coding. Gemini integrates directly into the Google ecosystem and analyzes full YouTube videos, while X's Grok handles unfiltered, real-time data queries that other models block. But to feed these brains efficiently, you have to completely abandon the keyboard. Using a tool like WhisperFlow converts raw audio into a refined, formatted asset. It analyzes your context to remove filler words and grammatical errors, instantly outputting a finished piece of text. By matching the right specialized model with voice input that is 5 times faster than typing, you can outline and structure an entire business concept in minutes rather than days. Next comes building the actual product. Traditionally, this meant hiring a team of developers, spending months on iterations, and draining your budget before ever seeing a prototype. With a tool like Emergent, you simply describe the app you want, and the system generates a custom application in minutes. Draftly then takes simple prompts and builds interactive 3D web environments where elements move as users scroll, elevating your brand. And to actually pitch that product to clients or investors, you drop your raw text into Gamma AI. It automatically researches, designs, and formats a complete presentation deck in minutes. You no longer need to know how to code to launch a startup. Execution relies entirely on your ability to clearly articulate what to build. An app without visibility is essentially a prototype sitting in a void. To gain traction, a digital product requires a constant stream of high-quality content to trigger algorithmic reach. Instead of navigating dozens of individual software subscriptions, you can use an aggregator like Higgsfield. It gives you immediate access to top-tier image and video generators in one place, allowing you to mass-produce user-generated ads and product showcases. The most common failure point here is outputting blurry, artificial media. Even the best prompts often yield videos that clearly look fake. Solve this quality deficit by running media through an upscaler like Wondershare Uniconverter. It sharpens details, reduces noise, and pushes output into hyper-realistic 4K resolution. For organic, long-form traffic, VidRush automates the entire YouTube pipeline. You give it a topic, and it researches the script, generates the voiceover, pulls relevant clips, creates motion graphics, and edits the final documentary entirely on its own. The final layer is connecting these isolated tools. By using AI agents built in SimAI or N8N, you can trigger complex workflows. An agent reads a news article, writes a script, commands the video generator, and schedules the social media post. Your digital business is fully assembled. It builds products, creates marketing material, and executes daily operations without requiring you to click a button. This entire pipeline is currently collapsing into singular end-to-end execution systems. Manus AI acts as a central operator, taking a broad prompt like build an HR dashboard and handling every underlying tool interaction to deliver the finished result. Even the browser itself is adapting. Comet, built by Perplexity, replaces manual tap switching and searching with intent-based actions. You ask it to schedule a meeting or buy office furniture, and it navigates the web to complete the task on your behalf. The era of the internet defined by clicking and scrolling is ending. We are moving into an environment built entirely around delegating and executing. You no longer need immense technical skill or millions in venture capital to compete. Success belongs to those who know exactly which digital tools to deploy and when. If you want to start building this stack, drop your most obscure, highly effective AI tool in the comments below. The most liked comment will get 1 month of free access to our private AI community. See you next week. So I've spent a crazy amount of time testing AI tools. We're talking literally over 1,000 of them. And you know what? Let's be real here. 90% of them are just a complete waste of time. But that other 10%? Oh, that's where the real magic happens. These are the tools that are going to boost your productivity, help you launch a business, and actually make you money. Okay, let's dive in. Look, if you're feeling totally swamped by all the AI tools out there, you are definitely not alone. With thousands of options all screaming that they're the next big thing, it's like, where do you even begin, right? How do you know which ones actually work? But after digging through more than 1,000 of these tools, something really interesting happens. You start to see a very clear pattern. You can spot the hype from a mile away and start to hone in on what's genuinely powerful. It really is all about filtering out the noise. And that's what this is all about. I've done the filtering for you. I'm bringing you that core group of tools that are true game changers. And these aren't just tools I think are cool. These are the ones I actually use every single day to create content, run my business, and just organize my life. All right, here's a quick look at what we're going to cover. We'll start with your AI command center, then jump into how to build without code, set up an automated content studio, fire up your productivity engine, and finally, peek into the all-in-one AI future. Okay, let's dive right in with section 1, your AI command center. Now, when most people hear AI chatbots, their mind immediately goes to ChatGPT. And look, it's an amazing all-arounder, but the real game is knowing when to use a specialized tool for a specific job. And this is a super important concept to get. Not all chatbots are built the same. You wouldn't ask a brilliant novelist to analyze a complex video feed, right? It's the exact same deal with AI. Picking the right tool for the job is what makes all the difference. So let's break down the 3 essential chatbots you absolutely need to know about. When you need to analyze images or even an entire YouTube video from a link, your go-to is Gemini. It's multimodal, which is just a fancy way of saying it understands way more than just text. Now, if you need unfiltered answers or real-time data from X, Grok is in a league of its own. And for top-tier writing, script writing, or coding, Claude is quickly becoming the undisputed champ. All right, so you've got your command center sorted out. You've got your ideas. What's next? Well, now it's time to actually build something. Let's talk about how you can create entire websites and applications without having to write a single line of code. I mean, just think about the old way of doing things for a second. You need a fat budget, a team of developers, and you'd have to wait months, maybe even years.
The new way, it's a total game changer. You just describe your idea in plain English and the AI builds it for you. That massive barrier to entry, it's pretty much been vaporized. And the opportunities this opens up are just huge. Using a tool like Emergent, you can finally build that app for your own business. You could launch your own software company, or you could start a whole new side hustle building apps for other people. Just to see what it could do, I threw a prompt at it: build a food delivery app, something like Swiggy. And believe it or not, it spit out the entire thing in just 5 minutes. 5 minutes. But okay, what if you need something with a little more wow factor? No-code tools are fantastic for functionality, but if you want that stunning, animated, 3D experience, the kind of site that makes jaws drop, you need something like Draftly. It's absolutely perfect for a portfolio or a high-end business website. Okay, so you've built your awesome new app or website. Great. Now you got to tell people about it, right? That brings us to our automated content studio, where we solve the massive challenge of creating high-quality content at scale. This little 3-tool combo here solves some of the biggest headaches for any creator. First up, instead of paying for 10 different subscriptions, Hicksfield gives you access to a ton of the best AI image and video models all in one place. Second, to fix that classic AI issue, the weird hands or blurry images, Wondershare Uniconverter uses AI to upscale your media to a super sharp 4K. And finally, Vito AI automates the whole YouTube process. You give it one prompt, and it does the research, scripting, voiceover, and editing. The whole thing. All right, let's switch gears a bit. We've talked about building and marketing. Now let's focus on you, on your personal productivity. This is all about automating those repetitive, soul-crushing tasks that just eat up your day. Just take a look at these numbers for a second. It's kind of mind-blowing when you see it laid out like this. The average person types at maybe 45 words per minute, but we speak at around 225. That is a 5 times increase in your output just sitting there waiting to be unlocked. Imagine getting your ideas down at the actual speed you think them. And that's precisely the problem a tool like Whisperflow solves. It's not just about turning your voice into text. It's smarter than that. It zaps all the ums and uhs, it fixes your grammar on the fly, and it formats everything perfectly. It even learns the unique names and slang you use. For firing off emails or taking notes, it's a massive multiplier for your productivity. Now, let's talk about something I think we can all agree is not fun: making presentations. This quote here, that's actually from me. For a masterclass I was giving, I used Gamma AI, a deck that seriously would have taken me 3 full days of work. I knocked out in 3 hours. It does the research, the writing, the design, all of it. And if you want to take automation to a whole other level, we need to talk about AI agents. These are basically bots you create to handle entire workflows for you. For beginners, SimAG is your best friend. You literally just describe what you want it to do in plain English. Now, if you're a bit more tech-savvy and want to build really complex, custom workflows, N8N is where the real power is. Okay, this all leads us perfectly into our final section, and it's a big one. We're looking at the future. A future that's honestly already here, combining every single one of these tools into one AI assistant. Because let's face it, even with all these amazing tools, there's this problem, right? I call it tool juggling. You have one tab open for research, another for writing, another for building your presentation. You're constantly switching back and forth. Sure, it works, but it's clunky. It's not efficient. So that leads to the obvious question, doesn't it? What if you didn't have to switch? What if one single AI could just do it all for you? And this is exactly where the next wave of tools like Minus AI and Comet come into play. These are chatbots that don't just talk, they act. You can tell Minus to research a topic, write a full report on it, and then turn that report into a presentation, all with one command. Or take Comet, an AI browser that can do things for you, like find the best office chairs, compare the top 3, and then go ahead and buy the one you choose. So really, here's the big takeaway from all of this. We're moving past that era of having to juggle a dozen different AI tools. We are now entering the age of the all-in-one AI assistant, a single intelligence that can handle all of these things for you. Look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream anymore. The technology is real, and it's here now. So the only question left isn't about what the AI can do for you. It's about what you'll tell it to do. Your personal assistant is ready and waiting. What's your first command?